briefly, Sotheby's Institute of Art started just over 40 years ago as the in-house training organisation for Sotheby's Auction House. And the reason for that was that Sotheby's Auction House could find lots of clever people with art degrees and art history degrees, but they weren't very practical. And so they decided to train people themselves. Over many years, we evolved into a significant art institute delivering 6 postgraduate degrees. And so we grew so large, really, that in 2003 we left Sotheby's and we are now a separate company. Although we operate under the same umbrella brand. So we operate under license from Sotheby's Auction House. First of all, I have to say, I've been to Korea quite a bit, on average 3 or 4 times, but sometimes more often. And the one thing I'm always struck by is everybody in Korea thinks that the Korean art market isn't very good. That's not true. The Korean market is really good. The Korean infrastructure is extremely sound compared to everybody else in Asia. So the Korean market is in many respects a bit like the Australian market. It's actually very mature, it's very well developed, but the art doesn't travel very well. But it is a very good market here. Globally, it's quite a small market, but it's very efficient and it works well. If you compare it to somewhere like Indonesia or to China even, the market, and India, the markets are reasonably chaotic by comparison. Asia is where the trends are. The art market is a problematic market because it's very opaque. Most sales are hidden. It's an unregulated market. Nobody has to declare what anything is worth. Nobody has to declare what they're selling things for. The only transparency you get is with the auction house prices. And the auction house prices and frequency indicate that the market is increasing and growing. And that's therefore reasonably good evidence that the market as a whole is growing. Now, throughout Asia, the big market obviously is China. That's because it's an emerging market, whereas Korea is a developed, fairly stable market. But the thing about China and India is that makes the market the trend so positive here. If we look at the American market, you've got that many buyers. On the European market, that many buyers. And in 10 years' time, you're going to have about that many buyers. That many rich people, because that's the people who buy art. In China, today, we have that many rich people. In 10 years' time, we're going to have that many rich people. And that means more people buying art. And if you look at the trend at the moment in China, it's very much towards traditional art. So every day, in fact, it was in the newspapers today, new records set for Chinese ceramics being sold by Christie's. Because the Chinese appear to be, and they're all being bought by mainland Chinese buyers, they're buying back history. So quickly, it depends on the type of work. If it's something like ceramics, then the way it's normally evaluated is on past performance. It's fairly simplistic. You bring this in for sale. Well, one like this sold 3 months ago for $1 million. Well, this one's probably worth $1 million. So a lot of it is like that. But if you're evaluating a piece, especially something like ceramics, then there are certain criteria. So provenance. Can I prove it's real? Can I prove that this is real and who has owned it? Where does it come from? Because authenticity and provenance are really important. Also in ceramics, condition. So if it's got a big crack in the side, it's probably worth less than one without a big crack. But the big thing about ceramics is rarity. So if I can prove it's real and it's rare, it's one of a kind, even if it's damaged, it doesn't matter, because then it gains value. It will grow, and it will grow most in Asia. And another thing I saw, I was just doing some fairly routine desk research for a talk I had to do a couple of months ago. And two things emerged. One was, of course, the straightforward economic trends. But the other one was there's a big increase in the interest in photography. So photography, there's always been some interest. So, and we're talking about Andreas Gursky, George and Gilbert. We're talking photographs that are like 2 meters by 3 meters. So we're not talking little pictures. We're talking Candida Hoffer, these types of people. And their prices are going up. The frequency of auctions in photography are going up, slightly more than the rest of the art market, or slightly more than the general art market. So there seems to be a bit of a push towards photography. I don't know why, but the evidence is there to indicate that. So I think Asia's going to be big, and photography is going to be big.